skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Woo!
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 66 countries, such as the United States, Portugal, Belgium, New Zealand, Australia, even the Russians are listening to us, so I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we use this to help transform others and elevate the world around us. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, but don't forget about our 11 a.m. episodes Tuesday through Friday. Be on the lookout for those. You can stay up on the episodes and join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio community. I ask that you subscribe to the show and never miss an episode. You could also rate and review the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, the Google Play Music app, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, or wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. Please share this episode with everyone that you know. On the show are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing people who are impacting the world around them, and my guest today does just that. If you have any questions for any of my guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, you can call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. So please help me welcome to the show my friend, Dr. Rob, the warrior strategist, Garcia. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Sean? Thanks for finally getting me on the show. Super excited.
Finally. I feel like this episode is going to be unlike many episodes that I've done, where there's going to be like these little like shots fired moments between us. It's just how we are. That's just how we are.
You put two airmen on a show together, it just gets contentious, Sean. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Type A personalities. You know, I'm bigger than yours type of stuff. Love it. We're going to rock this thing. So, man, yeah, I'm totally honored to have you on the show, man. I know that you, just on the things that we have talked about in the past, really have taken on a new form in my life. You know, I get one little seed, I get one little nugget, and I can grow it into many different things. And a lot of that stuff comes from you, man. So I just really appreciate what you do and how you do it. And you're doing amazing things, man.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And just to let the audience know, like, kind of a little bit, right now I own Shift Magazine. I'm a business strategist, author, and speaker. So like you, Sean, I have a lot of interests in the business world.
Oh, yeah, man. So the title of this episode is Systems and Strategies with Dr. Robert, the warrior strategist, Garcia. Dr. Rob is a former high school and college dropout turned PhD. In his life, he had to overcome a learning disability and a poverty-stricken background to find his success. Today, he is an 8-time author and the owner of Shift Advanced Life Design Magazine. His current business program is called Tactical CE SEQ, which is teaching business owners how to become celebrity industry icons. If you want to know more on how to connect with Dr. Rob, you can go to www.yournextlevelofsuccess, yournextlevelofsuccess.com. You can also read the magazine by going to www.shiftlifedesign.com, shiftlifedesign.com. So, dude, my very first question I have for you is, what is your deep why for what you do?
My deep why is to inspire the person that's like me, say, 10 years ago. The person that knows they're talented but maybe doesn't have the support of their family or their coworkers or their friends or their spouse. And just to encourage them that if they have a dream, they need to go for it. That's really my why.
I love it, man. How did that come about? Take us back. Where did you find the why, and how did you discover what it is that you're going to do?
As a young person, I've just had to. I've been on my own since I was about 18. Like literally, just left the house and then I moved 1,500 miles away. So my family situation was so tumultuous. So I just have had to fight for a long time for everything I have, Sean. And we all go through different levels of struggle in our life. And mine was pretty bad, but I know that there are other people out there that are really, in a bad spot. And so essentially why I get up every day and why I do all this stuff and why I push so hard is just so that somebody out there, one person, will hear this and say, wow, Dr. Rob did it, and so can I. And that's the message I want to impart, that people have amazing abilities and they just need to realize that they can make it. They just have to be dedicated.
Well, no, absolutely, man. A lot of times in what I've seen is that, okay, I have this college degree now, so where is everybody? I'm going to be a speaker. I'm going to be a business owner. My website's up. How come people are knocking my door down? Because it takes work, and there's systems and strategies that need to be in place. And the best success that I've seen comes from people who are implementing and executing on these strategies every single day. It's work towards what you're working for. It's not just going to come to you just because you have this one paper, this one website, this one funnel, this one. You still have to let the world know what you're doing.
Yeah, and that comes with associating yourself with your network and developing your network and the relationships you have, whether it's in person or on social media, and then gaining the approval of influencers. And these are all concepts that I teach in my CEQ course, but it's never been more important, Sean. In the last 8 weeks, you've seen my growth, and it's been unparalleled. You've known me for a good amount of time now, and I've always been kind of just barely head above water, kind of treading water. But the last 8 weeks have been ridiculous. Just media appearances. I spoke at Mark Cuban's event, on the news, just all this different stuff, crazy high-level partnerships. I interviewed a guy from Delta Force, just all this stuff because I implemented celebrity-level tactics.
Oh, no, 100%, man. I firmly believe that in today's media, if you're not producing, relevant content, see, what I see is that the way that you're doing it compared to a lot of other people is, I'll just post this one thing, I'll just post this one thing, I'll just post this one thing, and that one thing is buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit. But it's not, hey, here's some value, here's some other things that you can do, here's this, oh, by the way, if you want to know more about that, I have a program. You know what I mean? People get sick of, they're always selling, but I don't get any value. So why would they ever go to you?
No, exactly. And there's a lot of people out there that are completely full of it that aren't, they're just salespeople that are going to leave you as soon as the sale's made. They have no real integrity, they have no real substance, and they probably lifted everything from Jack Canfield, to be honest with you.
Right.
That's why it's important to sift through and to find out who the real experts are.
It is so amazing to me, where, for example, I was watching this one video, high-level influence. I'm talking like Gary V, Tony Robbins-esque, right? I'm watching this one influencer, and he's talking about how this needs to happen and this needs to happen and how this can work and all this other stuff, right? And he said something specifically that says punctuation matters in your life. If you think this one thing and put a period at the end, that means that you closed the door. But a comma or a punctuation of like, you know, a semicolon or whatever, you know, that's why people have semicolons on their wrist. You know, for suicide, it's like, I was this one way, now my life has changed. I was this, oh, but now I'm this. So he says, like, punctuation matters, and he said a whole bunch of other stuff. Not even within the next couple days, I see this one person posting almost the same exact content. And so I started paying attention. And all of a sudden that person is posting the same exact content as this one or two influencers. It's like today's social media and today's marketing and today's, you know, relevancy, like you're not going to get away with that. Everybody's going to notice. You know, the internet makes that possible.
Oh, absolutely. And I longingly wait for the day when I catch somebody stealing my stuff because I'm going to humiliate them.
Right? I love your posts. Like I see, I don't know, you and I are kind of the same, man. Like we'll see something, call it out and be like, yeah, that's foul, out of bounds, penalty, you know, whatever. Like we just call people out. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just the integrity in us, you know. But at the same time,
I'll do timestamps in photos, dude.
Oh, dude, for sure. Yep, for sure. But what I love about the way that we approach things is that, hey, by the way, foul, that's this or that's this, calling you out, and then in the very next moment be so head down concentrating on what we're creating that nothing else matters, that nobody else matters. We're just solely focused, and out of the laboratory comes this amazing program, this magazine, a book, or something. Like we pay so little attention on what's going out there in the world that when we do, it's like foul, okay, I'm out. I gotta go. You know, I just come up for air, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly, and that's all part of the process. Like you can't focus on every dumb person in the business sphere. Like you just can't. You've just got to worry about yourself. You got to worry about your own growth and just building value for your network. That's all I really do.
Yep, 100%, man. You nailed it. Like providing value, and you do. And you have a really amazing Facebook group that I really want to put into the show notes. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But tell us about your Facebook group. You know, how'd you get started? What made you open it? And where can everybody join?
Yeah, it's called Success Engineers with Dr. Rob, and it's a different type of group, Sean, because it's business training that's fun. It's not, you know, you've been in a lot of groups. I'm sure you've been added to a lot of them you didn't ever ask for, which, you know, happens to all of us. But it's not everybody selling their stuff. It's not MLM. It's not a pitch fest.
Right.
It's just training. Like it's literally, I just focus on teaching people tactics, and then we recommend each other a lot of times, and we record each other.
Yep.
And I run it differently. I don't allow inspirational quotes. I don't allow video shares. I literally teach step-by-step processes, but I keep it fun. But I don't want people in there like talking about their cat. I don't care about like Gary V quotes, any of that stuff. Like I don't want the feed quote.
Right.
I want to get in there, be able to scroll down and just see value after post.
Right, and that's what I love, man, is that nobody is in there with bookshelves in their garage. That's probably one of the most things that I love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I love that you just lobbed that one. Yeah, it's all about picking the brains of experts, you know, guest training, and then we do a lot of really, before I deployed, we did a lot of really new stuff. Like I would have weekly auctions where I would auction off people's services and goods, and then whatever money I raised, I would donate to somebody that either had like a debilitating disease or financial issues. And it was just a great thing for members. Like there were no problems. Like everybody got to buy stuff at a discount, and then I could turn to somebody and say, right. Oh, hey, I paid your rent this month. The group paid
Yeah.
your rent. They would just, especially if it's somebody like a single mom that's like working 3 jobs and they got kids and stuff, like it just feels good, That's what it should be all about, Sean, is helping people.
Oh, 100%. Yep, 100%. The one thing that I absolutely do enjoy about the group is that it is value. Like, there's a lot of value that gets put inside of that group that maybe, like, not a lot of people see or understand. For example, you'll see a post like, hey, I just did this one video, and this is how I did it, and this is the result I got, whatever. You know what I mean? And somebody goes in there going, well, why do I need the video? And then like 11 people go, oh, well, this, and then all of a sudden it starts like overflowing. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of times where I go and I'm like, wait, what is that? And then I scroll into the comments, and then you get the backstory, you get the context. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I so need that. You know what I mean? So that was
some very bright experts in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%. 100% agree. So tell us a transformational moment that changed your life, that put you on the path to what you're doing now.
Man, that's a rough one. I think the biggest one, honestly, and not to get too heavy on this conversation, I want to keep it light and fun, but honestly, like during my last combat support deployment, I lost my mom 3 months in, and that was the biggest, death of an immediate family member is one of the biggest things that can affect someone, especially an entrepreneur, because it makes you put everything into perspective. Besides just the spirituality, the mortality behind it, and the change in your life, it really made me realize, oh, hey, this is what's important in your life. You need to cherish the relationships around you more, and you need to value the human connections within your life. So, Sean, you're a big family guy, man. I always love your pictures and the way you cherish and worship your family, and I have such respect for you for that. I've only known, like, in my life, just dysfunction from adults and family members. That's all I've ever known. I never had any male role models. I never had any, like, adults that weren't, like, full-on drug addicts or alcoholics. Very few here and there. And I have tremendous respect for the traditional family model, which is why I really like your stuff. But when my mom died, it was just such a, oh, hey, you need to rekindle these relationships in your life. You need to talk to your sister and your nephews who you haven't seen in 7 years. And so I paid them back by moving in with them for 2 months when we came back. That was the biggest thing, honestly, is just that was the transformational moment when my mom passed away on her 62nd birthday, and and the next day I just said, okay, Rob, you've got to break down the wall, and you've got to reach out. You've got to be a good uncle, and you've got to be a good brother, and do the right thing for the people around you. That was it.
Very cool, man. And at the same time, also sad. I lost my grandfather in 2013, 2 weeks before my deployment. I got a week to go home and deal with that, and then I came back a week, and then I was deployed. I was gone. And he was the guy who, every family has a rock, whether it be the grandmother, the aunt, there's always a crazy person, like a Cousin Eddie. And if those listening don't think so, then you're probably the Cousin Eddie. It's, I'm just saying. So I look at family dynamics, and my grandfather was always the one like, no, you need to make peace. No, you are wrong. No, and he was like the dictator, but in a loving, absolute loving way. And his family was everything. He was the guy that would set a plate at the dinner table for a random person. Like, you never know who's going to show up. So there's always a plate on the table ready to go. And if nobody uses it, then they just put it back and, whatever. But it's a symbolism that you never know who's going to come by, and you never know who you're going to help and serve. And that was his thing. He helped and served a lot of people in the community. And so when he passed, it was like a huge hole in our family. And even 5 years later, we still are like, man, just give me 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Because that type of person, just left a hole.
Yeah. I I had a grandfather that was kind of like that too, just old school World War II vet, and I learned a lot of values from him, and I lost him my first year in the Air Force when I was 21, and then my mom in this deployment, and it is rough when you lose those essential components of your family, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's talk about systems and strategies, man, because I don't believe that there's a secret to success. You know, everybody's got I love watching people's coaching programs, like as a speaker about it, like I have the 5 secrets. Like there's not a secret. I'm just telling everybody right now, there's no magic blueprint. There really isn't. There's a system and there's a strategy. Yeah, and there's an orchestrated result. Like if I want to get on podcasts, how do I do it? I do it this way. Oh, cool, got it. Now what do I do with the podcast? Okay, now I do this, and I do this, and I do this. You see what I'm saying? So let's talk about systems and strategies, man. What do you recommend, or what kind of programs, product, services do you have that somebody can get into, can use to engage in whatever it is that you want them to excel at or achieve?
Yeah. First of all, I need to go back to your statement, which is really interesting, because I'm the same way. I don't believe that there is a magic pill or a 6-figure blueprint that across the board works. I believe there are tactics that are more effective than others. I believe there are people that have mastered techniques, but the people that, if you just look at your Facebook ads and you see these digital marketers and they're promising you everything, it's just, I'm just so sick of it, Sean. I'm so sick of, this is what we use to scale whatever business, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here's our ClickFunnels link so we can upsell you garbage and then never talk to you again. I seriously just want to start calling people out because I make it a habit to Google these people when they pop up, and I Google them. There's nothing there. I'm like, really? Yep. So you have the fastest growing digital agency on earth, and you don't even show up in a Google search. That shows me that you just invested in Russell Brunson's course, and now you're lying.
Yep. Dude, I heard some. I forgot who it was. It was. It might have even been you. I want to say it was like James Malinchak, or she might have even been Gary Vee or somebody, but she might have even been you. But they're talking about their social body of work. You have to have a social body of work. If you look up somebody, or if you hear somebody like this person's an influencer, they're the best ever, blah, 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 right? And you look up on their social media and there's nothing. They have like 1,000 friends. Like, are they really an influencer? If you look up your social body of work in Google, on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapgram, and InstaChat, whatever the hell those things are called, if you look up all that stuff and there's nothing there, then are they considered an influencer? So look up people's social body of work.
Yeah, I totally agree. And people will say, well, Google isn't everything. And I'm like, really? Well, anonymity isn't either. You need to have proof of concept.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Did you know that? Okay, so fine. Google. I'm not going to use Google. I'll use the second largest search engine. Do you know what that is?
I think it's YouTube, right?
It is YouTube.
Yes.
So I'll just YouTube you. Oh, you have 5 videos? Yeah, no. Sorry, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, even if you get to like page 2 or page 3, like, at least you're somewhere. You know what I mean? But like, if you're not on Google, like, okay, cool. We'll go to the second largest engine because Google isn't everything. A lot of people do Google AdWords, which is super overpriced. So we'll go to YouTube. Oh, look, you have 5 videos. And you don't even have a YouTube channel. That's awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Come on.
No, I totally agree, man. And it just shows that they either haven't put in the work or they just aren't worth showcasing. And it really is funny because the level at which they, the grandiose level in which they self-promote, and then the actual, like you said, the body of work, the two don't match up, right? And you and I are very skewed because you and I both have created results, but we're also very, very searchable. And you and I aren't 8-figure coaches or anything, But it's funny that you and I have a much more robust body of work than people that are way up on the food chain, way more successful than us.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that. I was just talking to somebody, what is her name? I know her face. I can see it. What's in it? Juliet. So Juliet messaged me. She goes, dude, I see you everywhere. Just want to let you know. I watch her Facebook Lives. I think she's absolutely phenomenal and amazing. But just to have somebody go, hey, man, I see you everywhere. Just want to let you know. I'm like, that's cool. So, and
yeah.
you look at, I'm not taking out a bunch of Facebook ads. I'm not doing Google AdWords. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on, Snapchat or I'm not on, any of those other ones. I only do Facebook. I only do LinkedIn, but I double down on what I do there. And once I double down, a lot of people will see it. Plus I do hashtags. Plus I do a bunch of other stuff and videos and different things. But, it all equates to what is it that you want to achieve, because there is a system and there is a strategy.
This is so funny, Sean, that we have this parallel, because I haven't taken out a Facebook ad in 4 years. I've never used SEO. I've never used any of the Google stuff. I've never gamed the system, is what I'm trying to say. And when I see these new entrepreneurs, especially vets, that think that that's the formula. Oh, hey, I started my business. Now I'm going to take out some Facebook ads. Oh, no one's buying from me. They are completely circumventing the process and trying to generically create a marketing plan. If you Google Rob the Warrior Strategist on some days, I am every single search on page one. Every single one. And that came...
Why do you think that is?
Purely organic, first of all. And why do I think it is? Because instead of marketing myself as Rob Garcia, which is a very common name, mayor of Long Beach and some bodybuilder
sure.
and some other people, anytime I do an interview, they tag me as Rob the Warrior Strategist. So this obviously gets my views up. This obviously gets, I don't know the technicals of it, but it just matches keywords and hashtags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my new ebook for vets, the Veteran Entrepreneur, Sean, I reverse engineered why I was the Google search, right? Why I came up with all of them. And it came up with a couple of variables. I'm actually going to share them on the show here, help the audience out a little bit, give them a full bar. So I showed up because I had a Facebook business page. I showed up because I had a LinkedIn. I showed up because an influencer mentioned me and tagged my name out. And I showed up for multiple podcast appearances. Just those 4 things.
With podcasts, that is the new media. I speak at a lot of different podcast events, and I tell people all the time, you need to get on podcast. I'm like, well, I don't know. It's like the trendy thing. I'm like, dude, this is not a trend. This is happening. Okay? Because first of all, podcasts are a $314 million market, and it's supposed to double by the beginning of 2020. So you're telling me in 1 year. So back in 88, 89, 90, 91, that's podcast. It was actually called audio blogging. That's what it was called audio blogging. In 1993, Compaq and some other defunct computer company was the one that was the most downloaded, podcast, whatever. But it wasn't until 2004 that iTunes actually recognized podcasts. So you're literally in 10 years, from 94 to 2004, iTunes was like, nah, whatever. Apple wasn't even probably, baby company by then, whatever. But it wasn't until 2004. So in, 14 years, from 2004 to 2018, in 14 years, it's gotten to a $314 million market. In 1 year, it's supposed to get to over $600 million. In 1 year. That's how popular podcasts are. I don't know anybody who listens to podcasts who then turns around and goes, I think I'll just listen to the radio for a while. If you're a podcast listener, you're listening to podcasts in your car, at your house, on your phone. It's just our new medium.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to get on podcasts.
No, absolutely. It's a winning strategy. And here's the thing, Sean, is that the barriers to entry are so low. Anyone can get a podcast appearance in under 5 days with barely any effort.
Yep. Yeah, 100%, dude. You nailed it. The barrier to entry is so, even to start your own show, the barrier to entry is so small. You're talking about a $150 microphone, Blue Yeti, Blue Snowball, Audio Technica, a nice microphone, USB microphone. And then, so you're talking about $150, plug it into a laptop and you've got a podcast, So why are you not doing it? So iTunes put out something last month in November that says that there's over 500,000 shows. They're not sure quite exact number, but they said it's just over 500,000 podcasts available podcasts. But check this out: 115,000, almost 116,000 shows are active. So you're telling me 400,000 podcasts are now defunct. They've pod faded. They don't exist anymore. They're not active. You'll never be a guest on that show. So that tells you that there's a lot of people that quit, and there's a lot of people that don't want to do it, which gives you even more reason to succeed inside of this small community that is the podcast.
No, exactly. The people that weather the storm and stick it out and realize that they've got to put years in, not months, years, are the ones that are going to succeed. And there are a lot of parallels, Sean. You'd be surprised with my magazine and podcast. Believe it or not, the strategy's the same. Guest acquisition, sponsorships, marketing plans, and then a consistent growth strategy. And that's why I give a lot of business advice for podcasters, even though I own a magazine.
Yeah, what was the reason behind the magazine? Why do a magazine?
Oh, trust me, people tried to talk me out of it numerous times, and those people are dumb. So, I first of all, I really like writing. I think I have a talent for it. It's something I've been doing a long time, and I feel comfortable with it. I'm not like you, Sean. I'm not super quick. I'm not like funny. I'm not like clever. I'm smart, but in like a goofy way. So I didn't feel like podcasting was my best strength, to be honest with you. And so a couple of years ago, I just said, you know what? I'm writing a lot. What if I made something that would be like if Tim Ferriss made a magazine? Just deconstruct experts. That's it. And in that time, dude, it just took off. Like with anything you have your passion, and if you start a podcast, you need to stick with it because it's going to be a lot of work. That's why people quit because it's a ton of work. The magazine itself, I do it monthly. I try to. I'm just about to wrap up the new issue here, and it's like 30 pages. I do everything except for a little bit of writing in the cover, but I do the layouts, I do the interviews, everything, and it takes a couple days. But the reason I got into it is just because I really enjoy it. I get a lot of compliments, and it's opened up a ton of doors for me, and I get to interview famous people, dude.
Oh yeah, well it's the same thing with podcasts. I've had literally the guests that I've had on the show. Literally the guests that I've had on the show. Frank Shankowitz, the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's crazy to ever have this guy on the show, right? Like I interviewed the founder of the Make-A-Wish and Bruce Buffer. I literally had the voice of the Octagon on my show, Bruce Buffer.
Wow. Yeah.
Had I not had a podcast, what are the chances that I ever get to talk to Bruce Buffer? Not ever.
Exactly. It's a social handshake. And I've interviewed Navy SEALs from SEAL Team 6. I've interviewed Delta Force. I've interviewed Mike Michalowicz, who's a New York Times bestselling author, a couple seven-figure coaches, just all these people, man. It's just because you have the courage to ask. That's it.
Oh, yeah. So, whether it's a magazine, whether it's a podcast, full-fledged radio show on a radio network of some kind, AM, FM, whatever, it's just crazy that people don't pull the trigger. And my theory is that they just don't know how. They never asked. Like, how do I do a magazine? Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, how do I do a magazine? Is it on a Mac? Is it on a Windows? Do I use PowerPoint? Do I use like some kind of different software? So one thing I learned from you is like ebooks. And I was like, what? Like, all right, well, let me try. I'm always about to say yes to anything. I'm like, say yes and figure it out. So I'm like, oh my, and I messaged you a couple times. I was like, bro, bro, this is disgusting how this works. Like, this is just so, this shouldn't even work. Like, by all accounts, by all logic, this shouldn't work. But dude, this is crazy. This is working.
I'll tell you something. It was interesting. You were talking about the simplicity of starting a podcast. A magazine, first of all, it's nearly free. I was profitable in month 2 from ad sales, and all I did was use Canva.com to create the PDFs, something called PDF Mergy to make a big PDF, and then a hosting platform, which is free. The only thing I pay for is this domain and the cover, and I could get the cover done for like $5 on Fiverr, but I employ an Air Force vet I really like, and it's it's good karma.
So here's a question now. So, we're talking about like the free website hosting, like WordPress, Weebly, Wix. You could actually do things for free, not a problem. Do you think it pulls from the professionalism of having like, robgarcia.com instead of like, www.robgarcia.weebly. Whatever, or .wix. .whatever.com? Like, do you think it pulls away from that professionalism of having an actual dedicated domain site?
Here's my answer to that, Sean. That's a great question. I think it's good because it's going to educate your audience. So I get this question more times than you believe. This is what I say. For the free ones, the big 3 W's, Wix, Weebly, WordPress, I think they're good for freebie pages. I think they're medium good for sale pages. I would never, ever use one for a personal page unless you bought the upgrade to remove the branding. Like right now, I made my own personal page on Weebly, and I paid for the upgrade. It's not the greatest, website, but for freebie pages, you cannot beat Weebly giving you 10 websites for an email, right?
Right.
If it's your freebie, who cares? No one looks at it and says, "Oh, this is unprofessional." No, they just want your freebie, and they're going to give you the email. Like it doesn't matter. Now, if it's your personal brand stuff, yes, it is tacky, it is unprofessional, and you need to upgrade, and you need to hire somebody like Lee Mosler or somebody that can make you a professional site. There are certain things you don't skimp on.
Right. Yeah, 100%. One thing that I tell everybody to do as well, like if you're so afraid that, oh my God, it doesn't look professional, like the name or whatever, that's easy. Just go to Bitly or go to a tiny URL, and just use Bitly dot whatever like mine is Bitly/get book to speak for my stuff. Like I can just take that free link, whatever, and boop, boop, right there. So I tell everybody, I'm like, if you're worried about a name, like a website, like just use Bitly. You should be using Bitly anyways, but just use Bitly. It gives you trackable data, and then, everybody knows what a Bitly and a tiny URL is used for anyways. So just use that.
Yeah, I just type in Google URL shortener. It's got a really easy to use free thing. Yeah.
Yep, 100%, man. So talk about your tactical CEQ, man. What was the basis behind this?
Tactical CEQ was based upon my own climb because within 8 weeks, like I've always had a little bit of I had this issue for a few years where I was just doing business strategies, and I'd had some successes. I was featured on a lot of media. I was talking to some famous people, but I didn't have a steady ring of clients. And then I realized that the big light bulb was that I was marketing myself as an expert. And when you do that, Sean, you go up against every expert in your field, right? So if you only market yourself as Sean Douglas, the speaker, you're up against every other speaker out there. And that doesn't really make you stand out. So one day I'm driving, and I just said, forget this, I'm going to be famous. That wasn't the F word I used, but that's besides the point. So I said, I'm going to be famous. And then I just started implementing a celebrity-based strategy, not an expert-based strategy, and that's where CEQ was born. And so it was just these small turns of the dial where I combined influencer approval, consistent branding, teaching my industry, and then social media posts that are extremely strategic, and then network growth. All those things came together. And there's a few other variables, too. I'm not giving away too much.
Sure.
But this
Sure.
CEQ, and this is the reason why my Google search is so robust and why I have these ridiculous partnerships. I literally, before this interview, was with Stephen K. and I'm a featured guest on his new TV show for vets that's coming out next month in San Diego. Like, he came to me almost first. Like, I want you to be on this panel. You know, you're an influencer. You're doing all this great stuff. This is what CEQ gets you when you're viewed as a celebrity in your field.
Yep, 100%, man. And on my website, I have all of the podcast episodes that I have ever done, you know, like featured. Like, if you look at the website under the media appearances, it's all of my, you know, like, I was just recently on TV. I have, you know, I was in entrepreneur.com. Skype wrote an entire blog about me. I've got, you know, I was on ESPN.com for something I did, you know. So being on all of these media and being where people's attention are, and then turning around and giving out your absolute best content, whatever, is just that equation to be picked over everybody else. And when you said expert over like that celebrity and like all that stuff, that just goes to positioning. There's an amazing book by my friend Christopher Lochhead. The book is called Play Bigger. Play Bigger is how pirates, dreamers, and innovators create their own market and dominate their own market category. And it's basically what you've done. You basically created a market that you're going to play in, and that's what you're doing. And so nobody else is doing it the way that you're doing it. You're standing out above everybody else, and now look at all the stuff that happens.
I'm going to summarize it in one sentence, Sean, and this is why you're doing it right, and why I feel like I'm doing it right, is we are both being seen in our capacity. So There's a lot of that sentence, dude. And what that means is, this is what I see with you. When you're posting on social media, you are doing Sean Douglas stuff. You're either speaking, you're either teaching, you've got your branded photos, you've got your logo, but you're doing things people expect from Sean Douglas, you know, master speaker, trainer, author, all that stuff. Same with Garcia. Like, I'm always either doing warrior strategist stuff, I'm always being interviewed, I'm always, like, teaching a strategy, but I'm seen in my capacity. And so the difference is when I see people that are using their Facebook feed and it's just, oh, here, I'm sharing a Gary Vee quote. Oh, I'm sharing a snarky video. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And just doing all this stuff and not being seen in their capacity. All they're doing, really, is regurgitating information. And that does not make them look like a celebrity or an expert.
Dude. So I forget what it's called. Somebody had, I think it was Michael Marcial. He had turned me on to this. He's like, dude, I just found this thing called Friend Remover Pro. And you can remove all of your friends, like, you know, right off the bat, you know, from Facebook, you know, whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Like, dude, I went through, like, profiles that I never, like, really engaged with or whatever. And I looked, and it's like, share. Post about my family. Post about birthdays. Share. One post about me. Share. I was like, delete. Like, I started deleting those profiles. Like, I put a standard in place that said if you're not sharing your own content, if you are not influencing me, bye-bye. And I deleted like 500 people, like close to 500 people, because I was at 5,000 friends. I'm like, holy crap, I never thought I'd get this. Like, I never thought. Like, never thought I'd get to 5,000 friends. I had 5,000 friends. So now I get to be very particular about who is my friend. And that's what I did. I was like, if I see a bunch of like I'm the number one influencer and you're share, and it's not your page and it's not your content and it's somebody else's content, you see ya, bye, see ya.
Exactly. All you are is a data forwarder. And man, you just hit right on the head, Sean, because I'll tell you, in the last, like, we'll say 3 weeks, on the same day, 2 very large influencers, like both of them are near the 7-figure mark. They both said the exact same thing to me in separate conversations. They said, Rob, you've ascended to a certain level, a higher level. You need to curate your network, get rid of all the dead weight, and create layers between you and your audience. You should not be approachable. I was like, whoa.
Right? You're like, wait, what?
I'm an influencer.
No, I love the approachable part. You know, like, that's just me. I love the approachable part. That's the one thing, you know, like, I love having the conversation starter badge on Facebook. I love having my page say responds in like 5 or 10 minutes or, you know, whatever. Like, I like that part because I'm still humble enough You know what I mean? Like, not take pictures next to somebody else's jet or somebody else's Lamborghini or Ferrari and pass it off as my own. So I'm still above that. However, I still have what you're talking about, those layers. Like, hey, let me get back to you. I'm working on something else. Like, you know, I can't get back to that till like next week or like, you know, so I'm not afraid to push things off, you know, if it's not serving me at my higher purpose.
No, and let me something. Let me change approachable with reachable.
Oh, sure. 100%.
Yeah. I don't mind being approachable. I just don't want to be reachable all the time.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, definitely. So, give us a couple more, man. Like real quick. You know, what do you need people to do? You know, what do you suggest that they do going into 2019?
All right. In order to make themselves famous, or to get more exposure, get more visibility, they need to teach their industry. That's the bottom line. They need to absolutely develop content in their industry that is groundbreaking, that is fun and engaging, and they need to pick the medium that best suits their aptitude, Sean. Just like we took the ASVAB to find out who's good with wires and who's good with wrenches. They need to pick if they're better on video, if they're better on podcasts, or if they're better as writers. I don't have a face for video, let's be honest. I look like someone's uncle just got out of rehab. That's okay. I recognize my strengths. And I know that I'm a tremendous writer, and so that's where the majority of my stuff comes from when I'm creating graphics and stuff. So once you figure out what your medium of transmission is, then just go to town and start creating like crazy. Because once you teach your industry, that's when you become trusted. That's when you become the authority.
Awesome. Absolutely 100% agree, man. So what is next for you in 2019? What is your 2019 plan?
I have a giant I just wrapped up an event actually like 3 weeks ago, Speaker Media Bootcamp with Manny, and so I wrapped that up. So that was fun just to get an event under my belt. You know, you've done this stuff for a while, so you're a lot more experienced at a lot of the formal stuff than I am. But I learned a lot from that. And then in 2019, I'm going to keep doing shifts every month if I can help it. And then Tactical TEQ, I have a team on it, like a big team, and we're going to do a formal rollout like late January. So right now it's in beta. I've got one guy that signed up for it. He's enjoying it immensely. And I'm just taking him through the process of like creating stronger content, of aligning with influencers and recruiting them for business promotion, and then understanding how to get a ton of media appearances. All these little things add up. And so Tactical TEQ is really going to be my main thing for 2019.
I love it, man. I absolutely love that. And, congratulations on the event. I heard some pretty good things about it. So that was pretty cool for you. And, Tactical TEQ, I think, is going to be that rocket, man, and get you to the top, because there's so much, there's so much fluff, and there's so much noise, and there's so much like stuff that makes me scratch my head. I'm like, you're really teaching that? Like, you're really there's another speaker influencer, well respected. So pretty much anything they say, people are going to follow and do it, right? And I'm not afraid to ruffle some feathers and say a couple choice words or whatever. And they're like this one sheet. I'm like, really, dude? In 2019, you're telling people to get a freaking one sheet? Like, I've been asked for a one sheet for me to speak twice in 3 years. Like, the one sheet is not what you need right now. You need speaker video. You need a social body of work. You need your own content. And you need to be getting on podcasts. That's what you need. It used to be if you have a book, you're good to go. If you have a website, you're good to go. Not anymore. So... people that I'm mentoring in the speaker world, like, should I do a one sheet? I'm like, stop it. Just stop it. Get on a TEDx stage. That's your one sheet. Get on high impact influencer event stages. That is your one sheet. So I know a lot of people who, I got to have a one sheet. If you send me a one sheet, I usually delete it. I want to be on your show. Here's my one sheet. Delete. I usually just delete it, because you're having canned posts, right? Like, copy paste. I'm all about creating relationships And that is not relationship building. If you send me an email going, hey, man, love your show, especially the show with Dr. Rob, that was really good when you guys talked about the magazine or the podcast. I really enjoyed that. I'd like to talk about some things, and here's what I would talk about, and if you want to have a conversation, let me know. That, to me, is like, I've listened to the show. I know what you're talking about. Love to get on the show. I'd have that guy on the show. But somebody goes, hey, I'm amazing. Here's a freaking 3-paragraph email, and here's my one sheet. I'm just deleting it.
No, you're right. You're getting into pitch theory, which is something I teach in CEQ, and I would take it one step further, Sean. So you're right. You start off with personalization. You talk about exactly what it is you like about whoever it is you're pitching. Then you come at it from a place of, this is the value I bring to your audience. Not just feature me, bro. But this is the value that I bring to the audience. This is what I can teach them, or what I'll share with them that will, that will help them. And if you learn to do that, if you learn to pitch from a point of audience value rather than self-promotion, you're going to find a lot more yeses.
Oh yeah, 100%. When I got on the local news for Veterans Day, I was literally on Veterans Day talking about veteran suicide, homelessness, mental health, mental illness, like all that stuff. What I did was I emailed them back in like September or October and was like, hey, I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. I would love to come on the show on Veterans Day and talk about veteran suicide because of the 22. A veteran's life expectancy is about 5 years after they retire, after a 20-year career. It's about 5 years. And I get all this information. They're like, holy crap, let's do it. Like, I pitched according to that moment. I pitched according to the Veterans Day because I'm a veteran, and I pitched them what I wanted to talk about, but according to the season that we're going into. And a lot of people miss that. They just say, here, buy my stuff, but you're not pitching to, hey, if you have this thing going on, if you're this, if you're this, or this. So, can you speak to that? Yeah,
and that's a matter of creating the situation, actually. Because Veterans Day is coming every year. You're the ideal, missing puzzle piece, and you presented the perfect storm. Like, they would be dumb to not take you on.
Right. Yeah, thanks, man. I just, like I said, I take a lot from you, too. Between you and I, we put so much free content out there that, people would be not smart to just, like, contact us, like, hey, let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? And then just start working together. Like, just saying.
No, I agree, man. Next week's going to be ridiculous. I'm, finishing up shift. So imagine having to write like 12 articles. That's what the equivalent is. So I'm working on that right now. That's why I've been actually a little light this week on social media. But next week, I'm going to be a teaching fool. Blogs, YouTube, Facebook Lives. I'm going to be, the Warrior Strategist will be back, and you will be sick of seeing my face, Sean.
So do you go live inside of a group, inside of your profile, or on a page?
Live in my group occasionally, maybe once a week, and then every day I do the Experts Lounge with Dr. Rob. I changed it to 4:30 p.m. PST on Facebook every day.
So that's on your regular profile, or is it like on a business page?
No, that's on my main feed, my personal feed.
Personal feed. Okay. So I've recently done some research and got and downloaded the Facebook Creator app, and going live there. I don't know why, but on my personal profile, I've got 5,000 friends, and maybe I have 100 to 150 views. Like on my live, I'll have 60, 80, 100 views. In my group, I'll maybe have like 10, 20, 30 views, whatever. But I had 600 views on the Facebook Creator, like 600 views. Like, holy crap. So I don't know if they're just like really pushing this particular app, but it only works on your pages. So you can only go live through that app, and it goes live onto your page. And I have a bunch of different pages, so I can just pick and choose which one I want to go live on. But yeah. I don't know, man. I'm thinking that the lives are just going to be on my page, which the whole world can see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I might need to look into that. That sounds pretty cool.
Dude, yeah, Facebook Creator app. You can actually just download it. I don't know if you're an Android or a garbage phone user, But I definitely like the Android better. But I just downloaded it right from the Play Store, and then boom, go live. Instead of going live through Facebook, I just go live through the Facebook Creator app. So that's what I do. And there's a software called repurpose.io. So we talked about YouTube, and we talked about how the strategy, like if you're not on Google, you need to be on YouTube, because number one and number two search engines, right? So repurpose.io, if you go to that website, you can. It's a $97 one-time fee. You can actually take your Facebook Lives and repurpose them to YouTube on your own YouTube channel. It automatically does it. You set it up one time, automatically. Every time you go live from your profile, it kicks it over to YouTube and creates a YouTube video.
That is amazing.
Yeah, $97 one-time fee for life.
I love it. I'm just getting into MiniChat, and I use Bumble not Bumble.
Yeah.
Buffer for my auto posting. So yeah, these are all the things you need to do when you get to a certain level in business. You have to delegate and automate.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. And that's where passive income comes in. Until you actually told me what eJunkie was, I was like, what the heck is that? I was doing it the very, very long way. Someone wants my ebook, then it's this way, and then it's this. But once I found it, I'm like, oh my God, this is like ridiculous. Or when I found Calendly, I would manually schedule my radio show episodes. Now I just give them a Calendly link and let them schedule them themselves.
Exactly.
So definitely.
You find out and make your life much easier, and it has to be done, so you're not doing all the legwork all the time.
Yep, 100%, man. So this is the moment of the show where we do a shameless plug. We can plug friends, quotes, websites, Facebook, whatever it is that you want the listeners to know and to do. This is the moment. Shameless plug. Go.
Shameless plug. I want everyone to reach out to my good friend Tucker Bearden and listen to the Tucker Bearden Show. He's an amazing young man with Asperger's that lives in Arkansas. He does the Stay Humble,
Hustle Hard.
Yeah, it's hard to remember that one. But just a tremendous human being, an up-and-coming speaker, and he's certified Ziglar Legacy in the Zig Ziglar family.
Yep.
And I just heard him one night, Sean. I was drinking wine, and I listened to his speech, and I got tears in my eyes, and I lost it a little bit because he was talking about how his Asperger's is so bad, like he couldn't hold down a job, and everyone called him stupid, and he'd had trouble in school. Me, I have a learning disability, and so it just really hit home. And I've become friends with Tucker. I even set up a food allowance for him in his hometown so that they can deliver food to him. And it's just, I'm backing it. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm going to feature him in this issue of Shift, but he's a tremendous light in this world, and he's a decent human being. Like when he was super poor, the guy lives off $250 a month, and when he was super poor, he would get pizzas and deliver them to homeless people and just talk to them and ask them about their story. That to me is a tremendous human being.
Yeah, man. Tucker is absolutely, the dude's amazing. We spoke on stage together earlier this year in Las Vegas at an event with Manny Lopez and a bunch of other influencers, and I met him there in Vegas, and we got to talking, and I have a half sister that is autistic, so I kind of knew where he was going, and I was like, dude, like that's amazing that you're even on stage, like that is super cool. I was a guest on Stay Humble, Hustle Hard. I was a guest on there, and he's even got my book featured. I was like, no way. Like, somebody bought the book for him. He read it and loved it and put it up on his little book thing that he has, like, as a backdrop. So that was super cool. All right, so as we close, we always close with a nugget of knowledge. So give us a nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today.
Whoever you are listening to this, regardless of where you're at, your income level, your education level, anything, make the effort to follow your dream, because it's going to impact someone that's in a lot of pain. They're literally waiting for you to take that step and really think about what that means.
Very cool, man. Thank you so much for your time, for being on the show, my friend. I love what you're doing, and I support you, and you rock, man.
Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it. This is fun.
Thanks, man. So, Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around him. If anything resonated with you, contact him right now. It is in the show notes. He will elevate your life to an HNL, whole nother level. So as we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. I call it living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just 49 bucks at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only 49 bucks. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.